Unexpected arrival. The galactic Unity cruiser Zephyr dropped out of hyperspace with a shudder, its hull groaning under the stress of deceleration. Captain Exarlith, a towering insectoid with iridescent wings, chittered anxiously as he surveyed the damage readouts scrolling across the bridge's main display. "Status report," he demanded, his mandibles clicking with each syllable. His second-in-command, Villa, a lithe blue-skinned humanoid with 4 arms, responded promptly. "Captain, we've sustained significant damage to our propulsion systems. We're operating at 30% capacity and losing power fast." Exarlith's compound eyes flickered with concern. "Options. There's a space station ahead, sir," Vela said, gesturing to a blinking light on the navigation screen. It's in human space." A collective gasp rippled through the bridge crew. Humans were a relatively new addition to the galactic Unity, and their reputation preceded them. Wild, unpredictable, and dangerously innovative. These were the whispers that circulated about the bipedal species. "We have no choice," Exarlith declared after a moment's hesitation. "Hail the station and request emergency docking." As they approached the massive structure floating in the void, the crew of the Zephyr couldn't help but marvel at its design. Unlike the sleek, uniform constructions favored by most species in the Unity, this station was a hodgepodge of modules, struts, and flickering lights. It looked almost haphazard, yet there was an undeniable efficiency to its layout. "Zephyr, this is Nexus Station," a cheerful human voice crackled over the comm. "We've got a berth ready for you. Follow the green guide lights, and welcome to R.A.D. space." As they maneuvered into the docking bay, Exarlith turned to his crew. "Remember, we're here for repairs only. Maintain protocol and limit interactions with the humans." The airlock hissed open, and a wave of sounds, smells, and sights assaulted their senses. The docking bay was a riot of activity. Humans of all shapes and sizes darted about, some on foot, others on strange wheeled contraptions, or even hovering devices. A small group approached the Zephyr's crew, led by a tall, dark-skinned human with a shock of white hair and a wide grin. "Welcome to Nexus Station. I'm Commander Zora Chen, and this is our Chief Engineer, Rajiv Patel." Exarlith inclined his head in a formal greeting. "I am Captain Exarlith of the Galactic Unity Cruiser Zephyr. We require immediate assistance with our propulsion systems." Rajiv, a shorter, stockier human with a bushy beard, nodded enthusiastically. "No problem, Captain. We'll have you up and running in no time. But first, let's get you all settled. You've arrived just in time for the annual R.A.D. Championship." Vela's antennae twitched with curiosity. "Ride." Zara's grin widened impossibly further. "Risk and daring, of course. It's only the biggest extreme sports competition in the quadrant." Exarlith's mandibles clicked in confusion. "I'm afraid I don't understand. What does this have to do with our repairs?" "Oh, everything," Rajiv exclaimed. "You see, here at Nexus, we believe in work hard, play harder. While we fix up your ship, you'll have front row seats to the most exciting event in human space." As they were led through the station, the Zephyr's crew found themselves overwhelmed by the sights and sounds around them. Holographic displays showcased humans performing seemingly impossible feats, leaping from great heights, racing at breakneck speeds, and contorting their bodies in ways that defied physics. "Is this safe?" Vela asked, her 4 hands wringing nervously as she watched a human on the screen plummet towards a planet's surface, only to deploy a thin fabric that slowed their descent. Zara laughed. "Safe? Where's the fun in that? But don't worry, we've got top-notch medical facilities. Injuries are just part of the game." Exarlith exchanged worried glances with his crew. What had they gotten themselves into? As they reached their assigned quarters, a commotion in the corridor caught their attention. A group of humans burst through a nearby door, cheering and shouting. In their midst was a small, wiry human with wild red hair, covered in some sort of shimmering, iridescent dust. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new record," someone shouted. Adrenaline Amy has just completed this supernova surfing challenge in record time. The red-haired human, presumably Adrenaline Amy, grinned and pumped her fist in the air. That's what I'm talking about. Who's ready for the next event? As the crowd moved on, Exarlith turned to Commander Chen. Supernova surfing. Surely that's just a name, right? Your species hasn't actually. Zara's eyes twinkled with mischief. Oh, Captain, you have no idea what humans are capable of. But stick around, and you just might find out. As the door to their quarters slid shut behind them, Exarlith and his crew stood in stunned silence. They had come seeking simple repairs, but it was clear that their encounter with humanity was going to be far more than they had bargained for. Vila was the first to break the silence. Captain, do you think we made a mistake coming here? Arlith's compound eyes flickered thoughtfully. I'm not sure, Vela. But I have a feeling we're about to learn a great deal about our new allies in the galactic unity. As they settled into their temporary home, the sounds of cheering and the faint rumble of what could only be described as controlled explosions filtered through the walls. The crew of the Zephyr exchanged nervous glances, each wondering what adventures, or misadventures, awaited them in the days to come. Little did they know, their encounter with the R.A.D riders was about to challenge everything they thought they knew about humans, about themselves, and about the very limits of what was possible in the vast expanse of the universe. The challenge. The following morning, Captain Exarlith and his crew gathered in their temporary quarters, still trying to process the sensory overload of their first day on Nexus Station. The constant hum of activity outside their walls was a stark contrast to the orderly silence they were accustomed to on their own ship. Status report. Exarlith commanded, his antennae twitching nervously. Vila, ever efficient, brought up a holographic display. The humans have begun repairs on our propulsion systems, Captain. Their chief engineer, Rajiv, estimates it will take approximately 1 standard week to complete. A collective groan echoed through the room. Spend a week surrounded by these adrenaline-fueled creatures. The very thought made Tarlith's exoskeleton itch. We have no choice, he chittered. We must make the best of this situation. Perhaps we can use this time to learn more about our allies. As if on cue, the door chimed, and Commander Zara Chen's voice filtered through the comm system. Good morning, Zephyr crew. I hope you're ready for an exciting day. Mind if I come in? With a resigned nod from Sarlith, the door slid open, revealing the grinning human commander. Today, she was dressed in what appeared to be tight-fitting, brightly colored clothing that left little to the imagination. Great news, Zara exclaimed, either oblivious to or ignoring the alien's discomfort. We've decided to make you honorary participants in this year's R.A.D championship. Kazarlith's mandibles clicked rapidly in alarm. I beg your pardon. Zara's grin widened impossibly further. It's a fantastic opportunity for interspecies cooperation and understanding. Plus, it'll be a blast. Before any of the Zephyr's crew could protest, Zara was ushering them out of their quarters and into the bustling corridors of the station. As they walked, or in some cases skittered, along, they passed humans engaged in all manner of bizarre activities. In one large open area, individuals were scaling a sheer wall with nothing but their bare hands and feet. In another, humans dove from great heights into pools of water barely large enough to contain them. Everywhere they looked, there was movement, excitement, and an undercurrent of what Exarlith could only describe as controlled chaos. Here we are, Zora announced as they entered a vast arena. This is where the opening ceremony will take place in just a few hours. But first, let's get you all kitted out and introduce you to your trainers. Before the aliens could protest, they found themselves whisked away to different corners of the arena. Exarlith found himself face to face with a grizzled human male who introduced himself as Iron Man Ian. All right, Bug Boy, Ian grunted, looking Exarlith up and down. Let's see what you're made of. Ever done any parkour? Exarlith's compound eyes blinked in confusion. Core. Ian's weathered face broke into a grin that was eerily reminiscent of a predator eyeing its prey. Oh, we're gonna have fun with you. Meanwhile, Vela found herself paired with a lithe, graceful human female who introduced herself as Skywalker Sarah. Those 4 arms of yours are going to be a huge advantage, Sarah mused, circling Vela with a critical eye. How do you feel about heights? Vela's blue skin took on a distinctly paler hue. Heights. I prefer to keep my feet on solid ground. Thank you. Sarah's laugh was like tinkling bells. Oh, honey, by the time I'm done with you, you'll be dancing on air. As the day progressed, the Zephyr's crew found themselves pushed to their physical and mental limits. Xarlith, despite his initial reluctance, discovered that his exoskeleton and multiple limbs gave him a surprising advantage in navigating obstacle courses. Vela, after several terrifying attempts, found an unexpected thrill in swinging from great heights, her 4 arms allowing for complex maneuvers that even seasoned human athletes struggled to match. Other crew members faced their own challenges. Zorn, the ship's navigator, a gelatinous being capable of changing shape at will, found himself excelling at a sport humans called liquid parkour, flowing through impossibly small spaces with ease. Crix, the taciturn engineer with rock-like skin, discovered an aptitude for a sport called extreme mountain climbing, his natural armor allowing him to scale sheer cliffs without fear of injury. As the sun began to set, or at least as the station's artificial lighting dimmed to simulate evening, the exhausted alien crew gathered once more. Despite their fatigue, there was an undeniable spark of excitement in their eyes. I never knew my body could do such things, Vela admitted, her 4 arms trembling slightly from exertion. Xarlith nodded, his antennae bobbing in agreement. Indeed, these humans, for all their apparent recklessness, seemed to possess an intimate understanding of their physical capabilities. And ours, it would seem. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Zara, accompanied by a small entourage of humans, including the red-haired woman they had seen the day before, Adrenaline Amy. Well, Amy exclaimed, her green eyes sparkling with mischief. Looks like we've got some real contenders here. You aliens might just give us a run for our money. Zara nodded enthusiastically. I've been getting reports from your trainers all day. You've all shown remarkable aptitude, which is why we decided to fast-track you into tomorrow's qualifying rounds. A mixture of excitement and terror rippled through the alien crew. Qualifying rounds. They had only just learned of these sports mere hours ago. As if reading their thoughts, Amy stepped forward. Don't worry, folks. The first rule of being an R.A.D rider is this. Fear is just excitement in disguise. Embrace it, and you'll do fine. With that cryptic advice, the humans bid them good night, leaving the Zephyr's crew to ponder their fate. As they made their way back to their quarters, Xarlith found himself lost in thought. He had come to this station seeking simple repairs, but in just one day, his entire worldview had been shaken. These humans, with their seemingly reckless pursuit of danger, had awakened something within him and his crew, a long-dormant sense of adventure, perhaps. Captain, Vela's voice broke through his reverie. What are your orders? Shall we participate in these games? Xarlith was silent for a long moment, his compound eyes flickering as he weighed their options. Finally, he spoke. We are representatives of the galactic unity, he began, his voice taking on a formal tone. It is our duty to foster understanding and cooperation between species. If participating in these extreme sports will further that goal, then we shall do so to the best of our abilities. A cheer went up from his crew, surprising even Xarlith himself. It seemed that the humans' enthusiasm was infectious. As they settled into their beds that night, each member of the Zephyr's crew found themselves filled with a mixture of anticipation and nerves. Tomorrow, they would face challenges unlike any they had encountered in their long careers as space explorers. But somehow the prospect filled them not with dread, but with an unfamiliar, tingling sensation. Excitement, Xarlith realized as he drifted off to sleep. This must be what the humans call excitement. Little did they know, the qualifying rounds were just the beginning. The true test of their newfound abilities, and the depth of human ingenuity and determination, was yet to come. As they slept, the station hummed with activity, preparing for a championship that would push the boundaries of what was thought possible and forever change the relationship between humans and their galactic neighbors. The stage was set. The challenge had been issued. And in the vast expanse of space, aboard a station filled with the most daring souls in the galaxy, a group of aliens was about to learn what it truly meant to be a R.A.D rider. Training and transformation. The next few days passed in a blur of intense training, cultural exchanges, and personal discoveries for the crew of the Zephyr. Each morning, they awoke to find their bodies aching in ways they never knew possible, yet filled with a strange, exhilarating energy that pushed them to new heights. Xarlith, the once cautious captain, found himself embracing the human concept of pushing limits. Under Ironman Ian's gruff tutelage, he learned to use his exoskeleton in ways he'd never imagined. Parker, it turned out, was perfectly suited to his insectoid physiology. "That's it, Bug Boy," Ian shouted as Xarlith executed a perfect wall run, his multiple limbs allowing him to defy gravity in ways that left even seasoned human athletes gaping. "You're a natural." Vela, meanwhile, had overcome her initial fear of heights and was now soaring through the air with grace that belied her alien nature. Skywalker Sarah had introduced her to a sport called aerial silks, and Vela's 4 arms gave her an unprecedented advantage. "You're creating entirely new moves," Sarah marveled as Vela twisted and spun through a complex routine. "We might have to rename this sport in your honor." Even Zorn and Crix, whose alien physiologies seemed at first glance to be ill-suited to human sports, were making remarkable progress. Zorn's ability to alter his form at will made him unbeatable in contortionist challenges, while Crix's rocky hide allowed him to withstand impacts that would shatter human bones. As they trained, the aliens found themselves forming unexpected bonds with their human counterparts. Meals became a time of cultural exchange, with the Zephyr's crew sampling Earth cuisines, some more successfully than others, and sharing stories of their own worlds. "Wait, wait," Adrenaline Amy said one evening, her fork paused halfway to her mouth. "You're telling me that on your planet, the highest form of entertainment is watching paint dry?" Crix nodded solemnly. "The subtle color changes over time are quite fascinating." The table erupted in laughter, and even Crix's stony features cracked into what might have been a smile. As the week progressed, the aliens found themselves not just adapting to human sports, but excelling at them. Their unique physiologies, combined with their newfound enthusiasm, allowed them to approach challenges from angles the humans had never considered. But it wasn't just physical transformations taking place. The crew of the Zephyr found their perspectives shifting, their understanding of the universe, and their place in it, evolving with each passing day. One afternoon, as they took a rare break from training, Xarlith found himself in a quiet corner of the station, gazing out at the stars. Commander Zarachen joined him, her usual boundless energy tempered by a moment of reflection. "Penny for your thoughts, Captain?" she asked. Xarlith's antennae twitched in confusion. "I'm afraid I don't understand the exchange rate for thoughts to pennies." Zara laughed, a warm sound that Xarlith found oddly comforting. "It's just an expression. I'm asking what's on your mind." The alien captain was silent for a long moment, his compound eyes reflecting the distant pinpricks of starlight. "I'm thinking about how much has changed in such a short time," he finally said. "When we first arrived here, I thought your species was reckless, dangerous, even." Zara nodded, encouraging him to continue. "But now," Xarlith went on, "I'm beginning to understand. Your pursuit of these extreme activities, it's not about recklessness at all, is it? It's about pushing boundaries, about refusing to accept limitations." "That's part of it," Zora agreed. "But it's more than that. It's about trust in ourselves, in our teammates, in our equipment. It's about facing our fears and coming out stronger on the other side. Exarlith's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. I believe I'm starting to understand. This R.A.D. philosophy of yours, it's not just about sports, is it? It's a way of approaching life itself. Zara's smile was warm and genuine. Now you're getting it, Captain. And from what I've seen this week, you and your crew have that spirit in you too. You just needed a little push to bring it out. As they stood there, alien and human, gazing out at the vast expanse of space, Exarlith felt a profound shift in his worldview. The universe suddenly seemed larger, full of endless possibilities, and for the first time in his long career, he felt truly, excitingly alive. The moment was broken by the arrival of Vela, her blue skin flushed with exertion and excitement. Captain, Commander, you won't believe what just happened in training. As Vela launched into an enthusiastic recounting of her latest aerial feat, Exarlith caught Zora's eye. The human commander winked at him, a gesture he was now familiar with, and he felt his mandibles twitch in what might have been the beginnings of a smile. The next few days flew by in a whirlwind of final preparations. The crew of the Zephyr, once outsiders, now found themselves fully integrated into the vibrant community of R.A.D. riders. They swapped stories, shared meals, and even began to pick up some of the humans' colorful slang. On the eve of the championship, as the station buzzed with anticipation, the aliens gathered in their quarters for a final team meeting. Tomorrow, Exarlith began, his voice filled with an authority that now came from more than just his rank. We will compete alongside the humans in their R.A.D. championship, but I believe we have already won something far more valuable than any trophy. He looked around at his crew, seeing not just his subordinates, but a team that had grown stronger together. We came here as outsiders, seeking only repairs. We will leave as friends, having repaired not just our ship, but our understanding of what it means to be part of this galactic community. Vela, her four arms moving in excited gestures, chimed in. Captain's right. Whatever happens tomorrow, we've already achieved something amazing. We've pushed ourselves further than we ever thought possible. Zorn, his gelatinous form rippling with agreement, added, and we've shown the humans that there's more to us than they might have thought. We're not just diplomats or scientists. We're adventurers too. Even the usually stoic Crix nodded, his rocky features set in determination. We will make the galactic unity proud. As they settled in for the night, each member of the Zephyr's crew felt a mix of nervousness and excitement for the coming day. But underlying it all was a newfound confidence, a belief in themselves and each other that transcended species and cultures. They had come seeking repairs, but they had found so much more. They had found transformation, both physical and mental. They had found friendship in the most unexpected places. And most importantly, they had found a new way of looking at the universe and their place in it. Tomorrow, they would show the galaxy what it truly meant to be R.A.D. riders. But win or lose, they knew that their lives, and the future of human-alien relations, would never be the same again. The Great Race. The day of the R.A.D. Championship dawned with an electric atmosphere permeating every corner of Nexus Station. Exarlith and his crew awoke to find their quarters filled with specially designed uniforms, sleek, form-fitting outfits that accommodated their unique physiologies, while proudly displaying the Galactic Unity insignia alongside the R.A.D. Riders logo. As they made their way to the main arena, the aliens were struck by the sheer scale of the event. Holographic displays flickered to life around them, showcasing the day's events and the competitors. To their surprise, the Zephyr's crew featured prominently in the previews. Looks like you guys are the stars of the show, Adrenaline Amy said, appearing beside them with a grin. Everyone's excited to see what you can do. A flutter in his thorax that he now recognized as nerves and excitement. We will do our best to provide an adequate demonstration of our abilities, he said, his formal tone at odds with the anticipation evident in his twitching antennae. The opening ceremony was a spectacle unlike anything the aliens had ever witnessed. Laser lights painted the air with vibrant colors. Music pulsed through the station with a beat that seemed to resonate in their very bones, and the cheers of the crowd were deafening. Commander Zara Chen took the central stage, her voice booming through the arena. Welcome, thrill seekers and daredevils, to the 50th Annual R.A.D. Championship. This year, we're making history with our first-ever interstellar competitors. Let's show the galaxy what it means to be truly R.A.D. The crowd's roar reached a fever pitch as the Zephyr's crew was introduced. Sci-Fi was surprised to find himself straightening up, pride swelling in his chest as he and his team waved to the enthusiastic audience. The championship was structured as a multi-stage event, with each stage showcasing a different extreme sport. The competitors would accumulate points based on their performance, with the highest total at the end crowned the R.A.D. champion. The first event was Gravity Defiance, a complex obstacle course that combined elements of parkour, free running, and anti-gravity maneuvering. Xarlith felt a surge of confidence as he approached the starting line. This was what he had been training for. As the starting signal blared, Xarlith launched himself into action. His multiple limbs allowed him to navigate the course with an efficiency that left the human competitors in awe. He scuttled up vertical walls, used his exoskeleton to absorb impacts from long falls, and even utilized his antennae to sense upcoming obstacles. The crowd went wild as Xarlith crossed the finish line, setting a new course record. As he was engulfed in the cheers and congratulations of his teammates, Xarlith realized he was experiencing something entirely new. The thrill of competition, the joy of pushing his limits. Next up was the aerial acrobatics event, where Vela's training in aerial silks would be put to the test. As she ascended the platform, her forearms gleaming under the spotlights, a hush fell over the arena. The music began, and Vela launched into her routine. Her extra limbs allowed her to create shapes and movements never before seen in the sport. She twisted, spun, and contorted her body in ways that defied gravity and logic. When she finally descended, the crowd's stunned silence erupted into thunderous applause. That, Skywalker Sarah said, wiping a tear from her eye, was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. As the day progressed, each member of the Zephyr's crew had their moment to shine. Zorn's liquid parkour performance left spectators questioning the very nature of solid matter. Crix's extreme mountain climbing demonstration redefined the sport as he scaled surfaces previously thought impossible. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. During the Supernova surfing event, a high-speed race through a simulated stellar explosion, Xarlith found himself struggling. The intense heat and radiation, while carefully controlled to be safe for competitors, played havoc with his sensitive antennae. He finished the race, but well behind the leaders. As he stumbled off the course, disoriented and discouraged, he found himself surrounded by his team and their human friends. "Hey, Bug Boy," Ironman Ian said, his gruff voice tinged with concern. "You okay?" Xarlith nodded, his mandibles clicking in frustration. I failed. I let the team down." "Failed?" Adrenaline, Amy scoffed. "Are you kidding me? You just surfed a supernova. Do you know how many beings in the galaxy can say that?" Vela placed a comforting hand on Xarlith's shoulder. "The captain's right. This isn't about winning or losing. It's about pushing boundaries, remember." As his team rallied around him, Xarlith felt a warmth spreading through his exoskeleton that had nothing to do with the recent race. This, he realized, was what the R.A.D. riders were truly about, facing challenges together, supporting each other, and celebrating every victory, no matter how small. The final event of the championship was the Cosmic Obstacle Crush, a grueling team challenge that combined elements from all the previous events. It would require every ounce of skill, strength, and teamwork the competitors could muster. As the Zephyr's crew huddled together before the start, Xarlith looked at each of his teammates. "Whatever happens," he said, his voice filled with pride, We have already achieved more than I ever thought possible. Let us show the galaxy what unity truly means. The challenge was brutal, testing them in ways they had never imagined. They scaled towering structures, navigated zero-gravity mazes, and even had to pilot small craft through an asteroid field. But through it all, they worked together seamlessly, their diverse abilities complementing each other perfectly. As they approached the final obstacle, a sheer cliff face that seemed to stretch into infinity, they found themselves neck and neck with the human team led by Adrenaline Amy. "Looks like it's down to us, Bug Boy," Amy shouted over the roar of the crowd. "May the best species win." What followed was a climbing duel for the ages. The humans, with their experience and specialized gear, took an early lead. But the aliens, utilizing their unique physiologies and newfound skills, began to close the gap. In the final moments, as both teams neared the summit, Exarlith made a decision. Instead of pushing for the win, he reached out a limb to Amy, who was struggling with a particularly difficult handhold. Together, he chittered, his compound eyes meeting her startled gaze. Understanding dawned on Amy's face, and she grasped Exarlith's offered limb. As one, human and alien, they crested the summit. The arena erupted in cheers as both teams embraced atop the cliff, the distinction between winner and loser forgotten in the face of their shared achievement. As they were lowered back to the ground, surrounded by the adulation of the crowd, Exarlith realized that they had accomplished something far greater than winning a sporting event. They had bridged the gap between species, showcasing the true potential of galactic cooperation. Commander Zora-Chen's voice boomed through the arena once more. "Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all species, I give you your R.A.D. champions, not just of this event, but of the very spirit of risk and daring." As medals were placed around their necks, a curious human tradition, Exarlith thought. The captain of the Zephyr looked at his team, at their human friends, and at the cheering crowd. They had come seeking repairs, but they had found so much more. They had found a new understanding of themselves, of humanity, and of the boundless possibilities that lay before them in the vast expanse of the universe. The R.A.D. championship was over, but for Exarlith and his crew, a new adventure was just beginning. Departure and reflection. The days following the R.A.D. championship passed in a whirlwind of celebration, reflection, and preparation. As the crew of the Zephyr basked in their newfound celebrity status, they also found themselves at the center of a rapidly evolving dialogue about interspecies cooperation and understanding. News of their performance had spread far beyond Nexus Station. The Galactic Unity Council had sent official commendations, and requests for interviews and appearances flooded in from across known space. It seemed that their impromptu sporting adventure had captured the imagination of countless beings. Amidst the chaos, Exarlith found a moment of quiet to visit the Zephyr, still docked in the station's repair bay. Chief Engineer Rajiv greeted him with a warm smile and a firm handshake, a human gesture the captain had grown oddly fond of. "She's all patched up and better than ever, Captain," Rajiv said, patting the ship's hull affectionately. "We've even made a few upgrades. Hope you don't mind." Exarlith's antennae twitched curiously. "Upgrades?" Rajiv's grin widened. "Let's just say she's a bit more R.A.D. now. Nothing crazy, mind you. Just a few tweaks to improve maneuverability and resilience. You never know when you might need to pull off some extreme maneuvers out there in the black." As they toured the ship, Exarlith was impressed by the seamless integration of human ingenuity with galactic unity technology. It was a tangible representation of what could be achieved when different species work together, combining their unique strengths and perspectives. The night before their scheduled departure, Commander Zora-Chen organized a farewell party for the Zephyr's crew. The station's main promenade had been transformed into a vibrant celebration of both human and alien cultures. Foods from across the galaxy were served alongside Earth delicacies, and the air was filled with a cacophony of music from various worlds. As Exarlith watched his crew mingle with the humans, Vela demonstrating a traditional dance with her 4 arms, Zorn entertaining a group of children with his shape-shifting abilities, and even the stoic Crix engaged in what appeared to be a good-natured arm wrestling contest. He felt a profound sense of change. Adrenaline. Amy sidled up to him, a glass of something fizzy in her hand. "Penny for your thoughts, bud boy," she asked, echoing Zora's words from days earlier. Exarlith chittered in amusement. "I believe I understand that reference now. I was just reflecting on how much has changed since we arrived here." Amy nodded, her usual mischievous grin softening into a more thoughtful expression. "You guys have changed us too, you know. Showed us that there's always a new perspective, a new way of pushing limits." Their conversation was interrupted by Zara, who clinked a spoon against her glass to call for attention. "Friends, colleagues, honored guests," she began, her voice carrying across the promenade. "We gathered here a week ago as strangers from different worlds. Today we part as friends, as fellow adventurers, as R.A.D. riders all." A cheer went up from the crowd, and Zara waited for it to subside before continuing. "But more than that, I believe we've witnessed the beginning of something truly extraordinary. The spirit of risk and daring that we celebrate here isn't just about sports or thrills. It's about pushing boundaries, challenging preconceptions, and daring to imagine a better future." She raised her glass. "To the crew of the Zephyr, who came seeking repairs and instead helped repair the divide between our species, and to all of us, may we continue to be R.A.D. in all our endeavors." The toast was met with enthusiastic applause, and as the celebration continued into the night, Exarlith found himself drawn into conversations about the future. Plans were made for cultural exchange programs, joint scientific expeditions, and even talks of establishing a permanent alien division in future R.A.D. championships. The next morning, as the Zephyr prepared for departure, the docking bay was crowded with well-wishers. Gifts were exchanged, promises to stay in touch were made, and more than a few tears were shed, both human and alien. As Exarlith stood at the airlock, saying his final goodbyes, Ironman Ian approached with an unexpected gift, a small gleaming medal. "It's not official or anything," Ian said gruffly, though there was warmth in his eyes. "But as far as I'm concerned, you've earned the title of honorary human. Wear it proud, bud boy." Touched by the gesture, Exarlith accepted the medal with a formal bow. "I shall treasure it always, my friend." Finally, it was time to leave. As the airlock sealed and the Zephyr disengaged from the station, Exarlith gathered his crew on the bridge. "Set a course for Galactic Unity headquarters," he instructed Vela, who now sat at the navigation console with a newfound confidence. "I believe we have quite a report to deliver." As Nexus Station receded in their view screen, Exarlith felt a mixture of sadness at leaving and excitement for what lay ahead. They had come seeking simple repairs, but they were leaving with so much more: new skills, new perspectives, and a new understanding of what it meant to be part of the galactic community. "You know," Zorn said, his gelatinous form rippling with amusement, "I have a feeling our next diplomatic mission is going to seem awfully dull after this." Laughter filled the bridge, and as the Zephyr leaped into hyperspace, Exarlith knew that their adventure was far from over. They carried with them the spirit of the R.A.D. riders, a commitment to pushing boundaries and bridging divides. The repairs to their ship had been completed, but the true work, the work of building understanding and cooperation between species, was just beginning. And thanks to their unexpected detour into the world of extreme sports, Exarlith and his crew were more than ready for the challenge. As the stars streaked by outside, Exarlith allowed himself a very human-like smile. The universe, he realized, was full of endless possibilities. All they had to do was be bold enough, be daring enough, be R.A.D. enough, to reach out and grasp them. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning.